Good day to you. Thank you for joining me. We're doing Numbers 28 today. I'm Michael Didier, by the way. I hail right now from North Carolina, but I've been in several parts of the United States. Last week, one of the things that we talked about was the death of Moses. We talked about the daughters of Zelophehad was the main issue. We did 27 and 36, I believe, of Numbers. At the end of 27, however, Yehovah brought Moses up to the top of Pisgah, and he died there. And Eleazar put Eleazar, no, let me think now. We're talking about Moses. Joshua, I guess Joshua was up there too. Anyway, they came back, and Eleazar, it said that he charged Joshua in the place of Moses in front of the people. Charged, they said, inaugurated, I think is the word that they used last week. Let's double check that because I think this is important. I'm making a point here. It says, and you shall give his, where is it? Inaugurated. Here it is. He laid hands on him and inaugurated him. And 19, it says, set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation, and inaugurated him in their sight, charged him in their sight. He was charged. Today, we're going to see that all the people of Israel, the Ezra men, Israel's seed, are going to be charged as well. But my first point is Numbers 28, verse 1. Look what it says. Now Yehovah spoke to Moses, saying, I thought, wait a second. Didn't Moses just die at the end of the previous chapter? How come Yehovah is speaking to Moses again? And it reminds me, of course, we've seen it many times, that Torah is not chronological. Here it says, Yehovah is still talking to Moses, who died at the end of chapter 27. What's up with that? We're going to see lots more of Moses. We don't really see a lot of Joshua until we get into Joshua, after we've crossed over. But clearly, we haven't crossed over yet, and Moses is still here. So it says command. This is the word that they're using right now. Command is charge. Zavah. Zavah is the word. It's the same word that I was just showing you in the last chapter that said inaugurate. So here we're charging Israel's seed, look what it says, and say to them. Now, you really need to go to the Hebrew if you're going to understand Yehovah's words. I was forced to learn Hebrew, and I've got a place on my website, weareisrael.org, that says something about Hebrew, learning Hebrew, or something along those lines. And it gives you some links that you can start learning the Hebrew, learn the letters, learn what they mean, how they put together. Ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible talks about a picture language. And it's very interesting to see how all this stuff fits together. But you've got to learn just the basics of Hebrew. I mean, I can't talk to anybody in Hebrew. If someone speaks to me in modern day Hebrew, I'm not going to have the faintest idea what they're talking about. But ancient Hebrew, reading it and learning to understand it, you can do that. You can do it. I know you can do it. But it helps to learn the Hebrew and see all the added words that they put in English that don't belong there. I'm going to read it on the right. You can read it on the left and kind of watch how it fits together. He says, charge. He says, command. Charge Israel's seed and say to them, my korvan is for my food, for my fire, my sweet aroma. Ye shall guard them to bring them to me in their moed. We're talking today about the sweet aromas that are brought to Yehovah. They're his food. Sweet aroma. His korvan. It's about drawing near is what korvan is. We'll talk about that in a second. Drawing near to Yehovah at his moeds, his appointed times. What are Yehovah's appointed times? Most of the times we're talking about feast days, but it goes beyond feast days. And we're going to see it's going to start today with the daily sacrifice, the daily, I don't like to use that word sacrifice, the daily olah. It's an olah korvan. Korvan is what they usually choose for offering. Here it is right here. This is korvan. Here it is. I've got it 71:33. Here's 71:33. My korvan. This yod says my, just like it says my korvan, my food, my fire. That's a weird word because the word they actually have here is isha. And this is the word for fire. It's a different number. But isha and fire tend to blend together in many cases. Interesting. Sweet aroma. My sweet aroma. Here we are. My korvan. It's about drawing near to Yehovah. The offerings, korvan, that we're going to talk about today are in addition to the many offerings that Yehovah has. Here's the nedah. Here's the nedabah. We've got kata'ah, sin offerings. We've got asham, again, kind of like a sin offering. But these are done in addition to all those normal things. These are the things that we're doing on his moed, not replacing anything else. And he's going to start today. Well, let me just show you here. Maybe I'll make sure I'm not leaving anything out that I want to get. He says, verse 3, and you shall say to them, this is the fire which ye shall bring to Yehovah. 2 whole lambs, 2 whole, complete lambs in their first year, day by day, and olah continually. This is the daily offering. We're going to bring a lamb in the morning, and we're going to bring a lamb in the evening. Sheep, 2 sheep. I guess lamb, they're under 1 year old, likely is what we're talking about. This is the daily korban to Yehovah. Generic title of the offering is a korban. For the offerings is a korban. That's all these are korvans to Yehovah. It's about drawing near. It says without blemish. That's the word tamim that we've seen so often. I used to think that was just mainly whole and alive. as opposed to well, there's another offering. Moom sticks in my mind, but moom would be an offering that's got a leg too short, an eye that's blind, that sort of thing. These are complete animals. They're in good shape. They're whole. They're alive. They're the first year. It says lambs in their first year. So there you go. It's not a sheep. It's a lamb. Let's go to 4. One lamb you shall offer in the morning. The other lamb you shall offer in the evening. Now he's saying you. He's speaking to Israel's seed, but these are the priests' responsibilities to get all this stuff done. Are the people involved? Not directly. No, they're not. I mean, where do their sheep come from? Well, the priest's sheep, the sheep that the priests have. Remember, we tithe to the Levites, our sheep, and the fruit of our land. Grain, sheep, goats, rams, bulls. The firstborn is Yehovah's, but it wouldn't be these. It would be the ones that come from the tithe that are going to go to the Levites, and the Levites are going to tithe to the priests. I'm guessing that's where the priests are getting the animals that they're going to use. Verse 5, look at this. It says 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain. They added offering as a grain, as a minka, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil. How much is 1/10 of an ephah? These are all things that I was going through this morning. ChatGPT helped a little bit. Look what it said. It says that an ephah is 22 liters. Now, ephah is a dry measure, and liters tend to be a liquid measure, which converts to about 750 ounces. If we're going to use 1/10 of an ephah, we're talking about 75 ounces of grain, fine flour. That's fine flour. Remember that grain. I should probably have this in a different color as well, because it's not grain, it's minka. It doesn't say minka, or it doesn't say grain, it says minka. The fine flour is the minka offering. And it's got 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil. Well, to my surprise, 1/10 of an ephah turned out to be almost 5 pounds of fine flour. Here, I'm a baker. This is 5 pounds of flour, my bread flour. We're using that, almost that. It's 4.7 pounds is what it works out to. This is 5 pounds, so it's a little bit less. To me, I was surprised to see that 1/10 of an ephah was that much flour. That seems like a lot. It's a lot more than I expected. But now it says add 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil. So I had to do some research on how much is a hin. Well, look at this. It says a hin is about 6 to 7 quarts of liquid. We're going to use 6 quarts since it divides more easily than 7. That means a hin for a sheep, for a lamb in this case, is going to be about 1.5 quarts, about 2 wine bottles of oil. If I have a wine bottle, we're going to mix this with 2 of these being oil, about that much volume in oil. We're going to have a very, very sludgy substance that we are going to be adding to our korvan, our offering, in this case, the lamb, in the morning and in the evening. We're going to do the same thing. The hin and the 1/4 and the 1/4. 1/4 of the ephah, 1/10 of an ephah, 1/4 of the hin. It's oil. So I would think that it's going to benefit the fire. It's not going to put it out. We're not going to put it all on in the same place on the fire at once. It's probably going to be a sludge that, dare I say, we might even pour it over. I mean, it's going to be a runny substance, isn't it? A sludgy substance, certainly. We might put it on the animal itself as we're doing it. But this is for the ephah that has the oil. On top of that, look what it says. It says a regular burnt offering, a continual, here's the word that they're using, tamid, a continual continuance, tamid, continuance, olah, which was done at Mount Sinai, a sweet aroma by fire unto Yehovah. Oh, isn't that interesting? We're picking it up. This is the same thing we did at Mount Sinai. Probably even before we had the tabernacle. Remember, it wasn't long after we put together the tabernacle that we left Mount Sinai. Now it says, so that was the ephah of fine flour, the minka that we're bringing. But now here's the nesek. It says, and it's nesek, and it's, they want to say drink offering, and its nesek is 1/4 hin for the one lamb unto Yehovah. In the holy you shall pour a drink, a strong drink unto Yehovah. Now, look what they said here. Where is it? I guess it doesn't even say it here. It just says drink. They're going to call it wine later on. But here they're actually leaving it out. I put a drink, a nesek, pour. It also comes from the word nesek. It's the verb version of it. Here's a drink, a nesek. Then it says a strong drink. A strong drink is the word shikah. They have nothing in this particular verse about a strong drink unto Yehovah. They actually leave it out. Here's International, what is ISV? International, ISV, Hebrew Study Bible. Look what it says. The drink offering is to be 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. You shall pour out a drink offering of strong wine. They called it strong wine to Yehovah in the holy place. What got me thinking about this was if we're going to put this much drink offering and we're calling it wine, and we're going to do 2 of these, I thought, isn't that going to put out the fire? So it made me dig deeper to find out what it's actually saying. And to my surprise, they don't even have the translation for this word, shakar, in verse 7. You shall pour out a drink. Okay, pour, drink, that's there. To Yehovah as an offering. They completely leave it out. Here they called it offering a strong drink. Shakar, here's what shakar says in Strong's. An intoxicant. That is intensely alcoholic liquor. Strong drink. And drunkard, strong wine. This is all added. See the dash there? This dash, that means it's all added. Everything after here is just how it's translated. But what it means is an intoxicant. If we're going to talk about drunkards, they use a form of this word, shakar. Ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, look just right below it. It says intoxicating drink. Well, now it makes a little bit more sense to me. We're not pouring wine on the fire. We're putting together or pouring onto the fire an intoxicating drink, a strong, intensely alcoholic liquor. Makes a lot more sense when you see this. So again, the hin, 6.7, 6 to 7 quarts. We're going to use 6 quarts because it divides easily. So in this case, we're going to use 1/4 of a hin of, what did they call it? Well, they didn't call it anything. It's strong drink, liqueur, for a sheep. Works out to about 2 bottles of wine, 2 bottles of liqueur in a wine-sized bottle, let's say like that. Trying to give you an idea of the amount of liquid that is actually going into the fire. A wine bottle, which they're going to translate it as wine, you're going to see several times today, would tend to put out the fire. But a liqueur would actually intensify the fire, and I think that's what we want, is something that's going to add to the fire. Again, we're talking about putting a sweet aroma to Yehovah from the fire. The other lamb you shall bring, they always want to say offer, you shall bring in the evening as the morning grain, as the morning minka, and its nesek. You shall bring by fire a sweet aroma to Yehovah. Make by fire. Bring by fire. Yeah, so I guess I said bring. It's actually this, in this case, it's make by fire to Yehovah. Gotta look it up. So we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the first lamb in the morning, with the second lamb in the evening. To do an olah offering, you have to have a very strong fire. This is the visual that I'm going to use for today. I'll bring it over to you here so you can see it a little bit more. Can I make that larger? Probably can, but I don't know how right offhand, depending on how it's opened. But it gives you an idea of what's going on. Can I do it this way, maybe? Yeah. We're talking about a raging fire. This bronze altar was made to have an extremely hot fire. The animals that are going to go on the grade, there's a grade actually just below the top of this, that the animals will go on. They actually feed the fire from the sides. They have the sides closed. That's really not very accurate because the sides are screened. But it gives you the idea anyway. We're talking about an intense, very intense fire. Where was I here? Oh, did I close my? I guess I did. But it remembers where we were at. Now, so that was the daily offering. This is something we're going to do every day, Monday through Friday, Sunday through Saturday, Monday through Friday, Sunday through Saturday, every day of the week. On Saturday, we've got the Sabbath. Look what it says about the Sabbath. We're going to have 2 lambs. And on the Sabbath, 2 lambs in their first year, tamid, without blemish, and 2/10 of an ephah of flour as a minka mixed with oil, so just like we did above, and its drink offering. So we're going to do 2 lambs. But look what it says then. It's 2, by the way, it's 2/10 of an ephah of flour because there's 2 lambs. With a lamb, we're always going to do 1/10 of an ephah of flour. So since we have 2 lambs, we're doing 2/10. You're going to see how this works out here shortly. This is the olah for every Sabbath. Again, olah. They're an olah. It's always an olah. Besides the regular olah with its nisek. Besides the regular olah. So in addition to the 2 lambs that we're doing, we're going to do the 2 lambs morning and evening that we always do every day. That's what they're telling us. In addition to the continual is really what they're saying. In addition to the continual olah. Besides, in addition to the continual olah with their nesek. Now, with their ephah, they're going to have ephah with it as well. I don't know why it doesn't have ephah there. But so now we've got the daily. Now we've got the Sabbath. But look what's next. Is the beginning of each month. It's almost like, do I say it like this? The one that they use the most often comes first. The one that they use next most often comes second. Now we're going to do the months, which would be the third most frequent brought korvan as an olah to Yehovah. He says at the beginning of your months, here in the head, the Rosh of your Kodesh months, you shall bring, they said, you shall present, you shall bring, is the word that we're hearing, approach, bring, olah unto Yehovah. What do we bring? 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in their first year. So everything is in their first year, not just the lambs, the 2 young bulls, the 2 rams, the 7 male lambs, all in their first year. I think these are all male animals, by the way, also. So 2 rams, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs. And look what it says. 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a minka, mixed with oil, 1/4 per, for each bull. So this works out. Do I have it here? I guess I didn't work it out. Basically, we're looking at 3 of these mixed with the oil, each one with 2 wine bottles full of oil mixed together. That's what we're doing for the bull. Then it says 2/10 of an ephah fine flour of as a minka, mixed with oil for the ram. So we got 2 of these. Again, 2 of these, 4 oils mixed together for each ram. They got a big day of olah, bolahs, to do it on the first day of the month, don't they? Then it says 1/10 of an ephah of flour mixed with oil as a minka for each lamb. So now we're doing each lamb, 7 lambs. We need 7 of these and 14 of these to do all the lambs with oil. Each lamb as an olah, a sweet aroma. Here, that'll be the 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a minka for each lamb. An olah, a sweet aroma by fire unto Yehovah. Their drink offering, or their nesek, shall be a hin. Look what it says: a hin of wine. A hin of wine. Let's see if this is actually wine. What are they doing? Oh, now see, this says wine. Now, isn't that interesting? Why does one have an intoxicating beverage, a liqueur, intensely, what do they call that? An intensely alcoholic liqueur is what they called it. But now, here they have, this is the beginning of the month. Their drink shall be a half a hin of wine. Half a hin of wine. I put 2 bottles of wine. Same amount as the intensely intoxifying liquid that we're using up here for the daily. Isn't that interesting? Why do they use different? And how does that wine affect the fire? Again, it's going to be mixed. No, it's not. It's going to be poured probably gradually, not all at once. We don't want to put the fire out. But perhaps they're pouring it on top of the animals as they do these. Could be. There in the sek shall be a half a hin of wine. It does say wine. Let's double check it again. Half a hin. There it is, of wine. Yayin. Effervescent wine, as fermented by implication, intoxication. This is wine. This is not a liqueur. I made the assumption once I found out about the liqueur that it wasn't a wine, but it was apparently only a liqueur, only in that one situation. Here it seems to be the wine. I'm surprised. Again, how do you keep it from putting out the fire? I guess you got to put it on very gradually throughout the process of each one of these animals. Their drink shall be a half a hin for a bull, 1/3 of a hin for a ram, and 1/4 of a hin for a lamb. These seem to be regular measurements. For a bull is going to get a half a hin, a ram is going to get 1/3 of a hin, and a lamb is always going to get 1/4 of a hin. This is the olah for each month throughout the months of the year. Now, in addition to this, they actually have a caveat. Also, 1 kid of the goats as a kata'ah to Yehovah shall be offered besides the regular olah and its drink. Again, they said it just like they said the other one. They left out the ephah. I guess the olah goes within the ephah, go together. That's all I can think. Besides the regular burnt offering and the drink offering. No. What they're saying right here is that in addition to the 2 bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs, we're going to do a goat as a kata'ah shall be brought. Shall be brought, is that what they're going to say? Shall be made, done. Asah shall be done, made. Then it says, in addition to the continual olah. So they're bringing us back to what we do every day. We're going to do this on the beginning of each month. 2 bulls, a ram, 7 lambs, and in the morning we're going to do a lamb for our continual, and in the evening we're going to do a lamb for our continual. That's what they're telling us. Now, on the 14th day of the month, we're working our way through these moeds. It says, the Passover is the Passover to Yehovah. So we know the Passover to Yehovah. We got the instructions for the Passover to Yehovah. Exodus 12 has all these instructions. What Exodus 12 doesn't have is what happens on the 15th day as far as the offerings. These are the offerings that are going to be made the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. 7 days. We're going to do these every day. Here's what we're going to do. On the 15th day of the month is the feast. Unleavened bread shall be eaten for 7 days. So they're telling us right off bat is that we're going to eat unleavened bread for 7 days. On the first day, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. And ye shall prevent by fire an olah unto Yehovah 2 bulls of the first year, 1 ram, 7 male lambs. They shall be tamid. They shall be whole. Tamim. They shall be whole. Whole, alive, good shape. This is exactly what we did. 2 bulls, 1 ram for the new moon, first day of the month. And you shall bring by fire an olah unto Yehovah, 2 bulls of the first year, 1 ram, 7 male lambs. They shall be whole. We got that. The minka shall be fine flour of 3/10 of an ephah. You shall bring for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. Exactly what we did before. So this doesn't change. They always want to make offer. It bothers me that they always want to use these religious words: sacrifice, offer. Look it up and find out what it actually says. Many times it says, here's the kata'ah, offering, and it doesn't say offering, it just says kata'ah. You shall offer 1/10 of an ephah for each of the 7 lambs. Also 1 goat. So here we're going to do this again. Also 1 goat as a kata'ah to make a covering for you. You shall offer these besides, here's what it said last time, in addition to the continual olah. In addition to the morning olah, for the morning olah, for the olah ye shall do continually. What do they say in morning olah? Of the morning olah. You shall offer these. Well, yeah, in addition to. That's what it is. In addition to the morning olah. For the olah you shall do continually. In this manner, you shall offer the food by fire. Isn't that interesting? The food, lechem. This is Yehovah's lechem, his food. In addition, you shall do daily for 7 days. So we're going to do what we did the first day. This was the first day. Now he's telling us we're going to do the same thing every day. Food by fire, a sweet aroma to Yehovah, besides the continual olah, the daily, and you shall do its drink. Almost done. We're getting there. Now, he says, on the 7th day, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. Well, we know that. Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, first day, 7th day, is a holy Sabbath, a holy convocation. Now, he's moving on. Also in the day of first fruits, when you bring your new grain offering to Yehovah at your Feast of Weeks, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no customary work. This usually ends up in May, June. You shall do no customary work. You shall bring an olah, a sweet aroma to Yehovah, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs. Boy, they do the same thing for each one of those. The new moon, the Passover, well, the first day of the Passover. No, that was for the, first day. It's a holy convocation. That was for Passover. So for the new month, for Passover, and for Shavuot, we're going to use 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs. Look at it, we're probably going to have a goat. It doesn't say for a kata'ah, but it says to make atonement. So we're going to use also a kid of the goats for atonement. You shall present an olah, sweet aroma, to Yehovah, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs, in their first year with their minka. See there, they put minka with their minka, and then later on they say with their drinks. Fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs. Also 1 kid of the goats, as a kata'ah, to make a covering for you. Last verse. Be sure they are without blemish. In addition, actually, they here's what it actually says. In addition to the continual olah, whole and complete. That's the tamim, but they're saying right now, without blemish, they shall be. Hatamim they shall be. Ye shall make their minka and their nesek. You shall make with its grain and their nesek. There's the nesek there. It's in a different order, but all the ideas are there. Interesting to me, I didn't catch that it was 2 bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs, and a goat for each of those high days. The new month, Passover, first day of Passover, and every day of the Passover. Isn't that interesting? And then for Shavuot. Yeah. Well, this is the first portion of our, really it's going to be 2 parts, 28 and 29. 29 is going to talk about the fall feasts. And it'll be interesting to see if they also have 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 lambs also, and what days they do that. What happens during the feast of Sukkot? Are we going to do that every day like we did it in Passover every day during the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Yes, so interesting. We'll find that out. But I hope that you were surprised. I certainly was surprised to see how much liquid was mixed with this fine flour. That really surprises me. At any rate, thank you for joining me, and we'll pick it up again next week. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye now.